Alright guys, it's Ollie from Omnitub back for 2024. What would I look at in the tubs? Haven't done it since Tiger and Taz were getting in it last year when we weren't in here. We're only at this stage right now in the showroom, which you can come and visit in Somerset. You can book a viewing on the showroom page on the website. I'm going to get in all of the tubs just because I haven't really done this since back in the day when we were in the old place, and that was even before Tiger did it. So I think it was probably 2022. Quite a long time, and we've got a lot more sizes since then. So I'm going to go through each of the tubs, talk about them as I'm in them. So if you want to skip to the tub size that you're interested in, then I'll mark it in the description on this on YouTube so that you can jump to it if you want to. But if you want to just watch all of them, then feel free to do so. Let me know what you think. Any questions, ask them in the comments. I will keep notifications on for comments, replies on this video, so I will reply to them. Unlike on some of the others. Anyway, we're going to run through the seated tubs along here first, and we're going to move into the bigger tubs on the seated range afterwards, the plunge, and then we're going to work our way around the showroom area that we've made here. And I'm just going to talk about the kind of installs, heights of install, stuff like that as I'm going through it. The 1100 by 600, 1100 by 700, and 1100 by 1100 have all got similar seat designs, step designs that we've put into place here. You could have whatever step design you want to have for it. We've literally done that because people do come here with lower mobility and want to sit in these tubs. So sitting up with like next to the tub and getting your legs over, I'll demonstrate it, but it's a popular request for certain customers that want to come in and try. You could have the steps in any particular range. So the reason why we set them like this is so that the customer could get up onto two, and then turn around, sit down, and then get the legs over. It's that kind of design. Obviously you'd have the finished edge in line with the top of the tub here. We haven't finished the material, that's why we haven't done that, but that's what we would do. So me in the tub now, 6'3". I've got a nice little space either side of my feet, and then when I'm in the tub, there's plenty of space for me to sit down on, and seated with my feet on the edge of the rest here. Like, I'm probably broader than, say, the average person, I would have said, and I'm on a 600 width tub right now. This tub's very popular for cold, very popular for use it as a soaking tub, very popular for outdoors as well. Any of our tubs can be manufactured in any colour and are available to ship worldwide. This tub in particular has been very popular with cold use, where people are putting in their own recircs, or they're buying our recirc, and they are using it for cold. It's someone who wants something that's not a blow-up ice bath, but someone who doesn't want to spend 10, 15, 20,000 on a complete system. If you know, you know on that side. So people who want to build their own surrounds, want to potentially have two one side of each other, one set of steps, one recirc to run both tubs, is something that is quite a popular setup. So this is me in the 1100 by 600. This is the narrowest tub we currently do. My sort of width, I still have space inside there. For me personally, I would prefer the 1100 by 700, which I'm going to show you right now, and you'll see the difference of me inside the 1100 600 to 1100 by 700. So I personally would prefer the 700, but I am broader than sort of an average build, I would say. And I still could sit in this and be pretty comfortable if I only had space for the 600. So it's not the end of the world, and I think most people would lean towards this size and have space to be inside of it and to be comfortable. If this tub was going to have an overflow put onto it, then it would be around, the top of the overflow would be around here, I would say, if you can see that. That would be the position of the top of the overflow, leaving enough space then for anything above the overflow, and to make sure that it's accessible from behind because of the 25mm side here and the drop on the back. One thing to note about it, if you did have an overflow on any of our seated tubs, is that the back of the overflow would protrude the dimension of the tub because it's only 25mm. If I was to sit in this tub and to be like resting, for context, my shoulders would be around here. That's how I would sit, and I would rest like that. So I'd be in that kind of position. But I'm 6'3", so again, I'm taller than sort of an average height of male or female, I would say. So that's the 11.6. Nice tub, nice size. Getting out, and I'm going to jump straight into the 11.7, and now you'll see the difference in the width. Because of the 25mm sides, it just means the internals of our tubs, especially on the seated side, are extremely broad, extremely generous. That's why you don't really need to go much broader than this 700 for a single person tub. And I've got much more space now on my knees. I've got much more space because I wasn't able to do this in the 11.6. If I'm out sideways like this and I'm still got plenty of space in there, I would be rested like that. And if I was soaking in it, I'd lean myself down a bit, feet rested on the footrest, and have my head back like that, and I'm going to be in a comfortable position. To be 1100 by 700, unnecessarily wide for most people, but if you are broader and you want that extra space and you've got that extra space, then that's going to be okay. One thing you do need to note though with the 1100 by 700 is that the minimum space to get it through a door is going to be over 700. So if you've got 710, it's just going to slither through. Make sure you're careful getting it in. If you're stuck with 700, this tub is 700, it's not going to go through the door. So you're either going to have to make adjustments or it's not going in, because the smallest number on this tub is 700. The non-seated tubs, you can turn on the side to get it through, and that depth is going to be 62.5, 625mm. But the seated ones are going to have to go in like this. So on the 1100 by 600, the smallest number is 600. So therefore you're going to need over 600 to get it through. That's not usually an issue. With 1100 by 700, you have to measure that space and the journey going through the property up into the room to ensure that you've got at least 700, more than 700, to get it through without causing damage to the tub. Okay, so that's the 1100 by 700. The next one is 1100 by 1100, and this is massive. This is really for using outdoors or in a property where the roof's not on and you can get it over the roof, or you can get it through bifolds or double doors, because 1100 by 1100 is a 2-person seated tub. Really nice for outdoors, really cool for a 2-person ice bath or a 2-person soaking tub. I do really like this size, but for one person to have this, you're going to be left like that. Like, this is designed for 2 people to sit side by side and have plenty of space. It doesn't need to be much bigger than this from the square side. Again, like the 700, to get it through the property, this is not going to go through a regular property. You would need like a double front door, a double staircase. You know, the weight load on this tub is going to be very high compared to, say, the 11.7 or the 11.6. I would say this one is going to be good to go outdoors, going to be good to go into, say, like a room at the back of the property which you're using for a spa in your property, or in a commercial environment. It's a larger tub, it's a larger amount of space, but really nice to soak in and really nice to be sat side by side with somebody looking at something, whether it be a monitor or a lovely view. That would be the ideal one, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's a nice space, but it's not going to go through a standard property. It's just not going to happen. It's going to need to go through, like I said, either a big opening, you might have to crane it through to go through a window, or it might need to be lifted to go to the back of the property to be walked through. Most commonly, I'm seeing this in a commercial space. I'm seeing this in glamping, Airbnb outdoors. I'm seeing people put systems on this tub, putting it outdoors with a much bigger surrounding. This is nice because it has like a nice border around the whole thing. If I were building something like this, I'd probably want it to be a bit wider than what I've got here, just to have like my drink or something like that on my phone. Whatever it is that I've got around me, I'd want to have something around it. I wouldn't want to just have this freestanding 1100 down, although you could if you wanted to. Like any of our seated tubs don't require more space to get around them, but you do need to be mindful of certain things. Like I mentioned, if it had an overflow on it, it's going to protrude the back. the general protrusion of the back of an overflow is about 50-55 mil, whereas these are only 25 mil. So it's going to stick over the protruding side. So you need to have that space if you were to have an overflow on it. But when people are using them for cold, they don't necessarily put an overflow on the tub, they just want to use it full on, all the way up to the top. So the next one that we're going to go for is this. This is 1495 by 800 long, a meter deep in the middle. Now we've used a different step design for this one, just because we wanted to showcase some different step designs. And if you've got the space, if you've got the water capacity, or if you've got the ability to heat this through a recirc or through a log fire burner or something like that, then this is great. Because this is 800 wide. So this is a really good example compared to what I've just been sat in on the 11.7 and 11.6, what an 800 wide would look like. Because I always get asked about making an 11.8. That's the distance on the broadness of myself of how much you would have on an 800 wide seated tub. It's a lot of space that's there. This tub has a huge amount of space. That's me legs straight. I've got a huge amount of space at the end. There's literally just a huge amount of space here that for a soaking tub is unnecessary. But if you were in this tub right now with water in and you wanted to soak around here, then you've got that ability. That is a huge benefit of this soaking space. This was originally created for somebody who wanted to have a soaking space at the end, to be a meter deep, to be able to get fully submerged, including their head, to rest and to practice certain things in their area. They had the ability to keep the water at heat, and they had the ability also, if they wanted to run it cold, and it was actually next to their sauna. So that's why we have this size. It's been very popular in professional sports clubs with the recirc in between them. They often have more than one. They have one for hot, one for cold, and it's used for professional athletes, and it's used for people who want something that's really different. Again, you could put a full system on this if you wanted to. So yeah, that's the 1495 by 800. It's the only seated tub we've got at the moment. That's 800 wide. It's very, very broad, but I do really like the step that you have to get out of the tub, and I do really like this soaking space in the right environment. It's not going to be suitable for most places, and again, think about the door widths if it is going to go in a ground floor of a property. Next one is the 1500 by 700 two-person seated tub. We also have the one-person seated tub, which is modelled on the 1495-8, but the one I have here, the 1500 by 700 two-person seated tub, again, you're going to see the width of myself, very similar to what I was in on the 11.7. So that's very comfortable. This one is to obviously have somebody in front of you. We also do have now, which is on the website, a 4-person version of this, which will have an additional section on the left as I'm sat, and an additional section on the right. I don't have one here, it's just been released. And that again is more of an outdoor soaking space, great for a system, great for a communal or for a multi-person system. But this one here is what I do have, and that's me with my legs fully out with that space underneath if it were just me in the tub. If I wanted my legs to go to the end, I'd just pull myself down a little bit. Very comfortable on the back there. Me sat in this position with no water, with my head hanging off like that, isn't exactly the most comfiest position in the world, because there's no water in it, and because you wouldn't really have just your head leant off like that. You probably want to bring your head down a little bit more, so you'd probably go a bit more to the edge, like that, and then have your head rested in there. That's what I would need to be fully submerged if I was sat like this, but the whole point about this tub is that it's made for 2 people and to be sitting in it together, so you'd be more like this. And we've actually got another variation of this coming soon for 2025, which is going to be really cool, and it's designed completely differently. It does take up more external dimension, but it uses less. That's coming 2025, so that's going to be really cool. So yeah, as a 2-person seated tub, this is nice. And this tub's gone all around the world for people to put outdoors quite often, or to put in a space where they've got a lovely view. Really nice properties that I've seen this in. I've also seen this outdoors in back gardens being used with wood fire stoves to keep at temperature. and also on recircs. So it does have a place in the market. Not every single one is used for like a standard sort of or traditional soaking tub experience. They're used for lots of different things. The one next to me is built with the exact same external dimensions, except for it just has the one seat. So we've instead of got a seat at the end, we've got the foot-rested area, and we've also got a huge space in the middle here. So again, it's such a huge space to consider to use as like a regular soaking tub. It's just not really necessary, as you can see. But if you were trying to get into the tub and you wanted to do certain stretches, if you wanted to do certain movements, if you wanted to be sat at the backside there, stretching your legs through, but being in the water, you could sit in reverse. Like, the tub is used for lots of different things, and lots of different people use our products for lots of different reasons apart from just soaking. Because when you look at me just in this tub as a soaking tub, I think naturally you would think that's just a huge waste of water. What's the point in this tub? I don't understand it, but it's used for different things. It's used for sports recovery, it's used for commercial environments, it's used for outdoor spaces. So that's why we have these products, because they've been purchased by companies and by people to make the mold sizes, and we have them, and then we sell them to everybody to use as different for different purposes. So the next one that we are going to show today is a really different one, because it's the only one that we have that's 1.2 meters deep. This is used to go in between saunas and steam rooms really often. It's used for people to use for exercising to get over injury or surgeries. You wouldn't use these steps like in a regular environment. I've put them in here so that people can come into the showroom and can try to get into something that's so big. So you really wouldn't kind of need to use these steps, it's just because there's no water in it. People can try it. This is 1.2 meters deep. So people use this a lot for exercises, for aerobic type exercises and therapies. I've had countless orders for this tub to go outdoors under a pergola? Where they're outside, the water is not 40, the water is not 30, the water is more like a swimming pool temperature, and they're using it for exercises because they don't want to hire out a private pool because of the cost, and for the cost of this product to wrap around it and to make it look really nice and to be functional, and the fact that they need to use it for a very long time, it works out to be way more cost effective for the customer. So that's why people have purchased this. But then on the other side, people have used it simply as a cold plunge, where they want to be much more under the water. They want to build a nice surround around it, like a nice rockery area. I often describe this as a bit like a Centre Parks cold plunge. If you've ever been to a Centre Parks where they have the cold plunges, 1.2 meters deep, you jump on in, it's just surrounded by something really pretty, so it looks really nice and natural in the surrounding that it's in. So, like, people have asked me loads, why have you got this tub? And like, there is a market for it, and it's not necessarily people buying it for a bathtub. Like, you're not going to fill this with water and soaking it as a bathtub. It's 1.2 meters deep, but it is used for other things. So I wanted to show this one today because I haven't done it before. I think we've only ever done the video of Tiger getting in it when it was filled with cold water, and that was like crazy. So yeah, that's me getting in it with no water on. Now we're moving away from the seated tubs, and we're moving into the standard range that we have. All of these tubs now are 600 deep internally. They all have the same design in that they have not 25 mils on the side, but 75 mil on three sides and 100 mil on another. Overflows are drilled starting at 52.5, 50 mil hole-ish, 25 mil above it. You would drill your overflow hole wherever you wanted it to go. Most of our tubs, the overflow could be suitable to go on any one of the four sides, the smaller one on three sides. It's one of the reasons we stopped offering it. I'm going to get in the 1500 by 1500 first, and I'm going to talk about the install types as we kind of go along. We created this one with a step around all four sides just to showcase how this tub could be housed in a 2 meter by 2 meter environment, because that's what this space is actually sitting in, which is the size of a standard hot tub, which is makes our tub look really small. But this is 1500 by 1500, and we also do have a 1600 by 1600 that I don't have here. We also have a 1200 by 1200 which we don't have here, and those tubs have been super popular to build on our square range. So now we have 1200 by 1200, 1400 by 1400, 1500 by 1500, and 1600 by 1600, and also the original 1050 by 1050 for all of our square range. So we kind of have a nice, well-rounded area for the square ranges. Step on in. This tub is emulating a border around it. Again, put something around it. It's really nice. This is used for 2, 3, 4 people to use. I mean, I'm pushed over into the corner here. I would say you probably fit 3 of me in here. If you had one head there, legs there, one leg, one back there, leg there, I'd say you could probably fit 3 of me in here as a larger person, I would say. You could probably fit 4 of Tigers in here. If you revert back to the previous video for 23, you'll see Tiger and Taz in here. Looked really lost. You could probably fit another 2 of them in here. But we do have now the 1600 by 1600, which is a really nice size. It's obviously just a little bit bigger. Probably then you could probably fit 4 of me in here. I think if I was to be sat with my legs up like this, back there, feet there, back there, feet there, back there, feet there, maybe fit 4. 4 of me at an absolute squeeze. 2 adults, 2 children in here as a family soaking space, I think would be achievable. 2 adults all day long, ridiculously comfortable. We've had this tub installed in commercial and residential environments, indoors and outdoors. We've actually got some overseas in some really lovely environments. Rooftop terraces overlooking beaches, for example, look very lovely. To be honest, I don't think the 1500 by 1500 in white is the best look for it with the environments that it's been installed in, but we have got some in white that have been installed, but I think it looks better in a colour personally. We've just done a really nice blue colour, which looks really smart. Yeah, so that's the 1500 by 1500. Waste holes in the middle. Overflow position on this could be in any position or no position depending on the installed environment. We'll move on to the next one now. I think we'll go to the 1500 by 800 B100, which is behind you. This one is the only model that we have which has 100mm on one of the long sides. So when you look through our product range on the website, you'll see 1500 by 800, and then you'll see 1500 by 800 in brackets B100. What that means is the 100mm is on this long side. Really nice if you've got the tub being installed on one wall like this, or on 3 walls, and have the emphasis on one central line, which makes the 2 sides symmetrical. If you were having this in your property and you wanted an overflow filler, and this was all encased in 3 walls, might be worth rotating it round and having the filler on this side so it's accessible. I prefer the 1500 lengths the most for my height. Again, 6'3", and yeah, I just prefer the 1500 lengths. So that is me in the 1500 by 800 with the B100 version. Me personally, I prefer the A100, the regular version of this, because the width is that extra bit. You wouldn't have thought it makes a massive difference, but that 25mm does make a difference for me, I feel. But my legs are straight, so I had to like show people quite a lot this of me being inside this tub with my legs straight. It's absolutely doable for me. My legs are cast iron straight. I'm sat up, I'm under the water. I have this tub in my house, the other version, the A100 version, and I did soak in this sometimes. On the other version, I also sat this way when I was working with my phone. But what I would generally do with this tub size is I would be rested down like this. Buoyancy is making my body half weight, head's rested up here, and I'm just floating around, and my legs are floating and loose. It's quite hard to emulate that with no water in the tub, but that's how I would be sat inside this tub. Very comfortable. I've sat in this tub, the other version, for hours unworked. So this is why when I speak to people over the phone and on video and stuff, and we're just talking about I've got 1600 in length, or I've got 1700 in length, or I've got 1800 in length, or 1900 even. I want the biggest tub I possibly can. I'll show you as we move through the range, it's just unnecessary. And unless you're specifically looking to try and fill the tub with 2 people on a regular, primarily it's going to be used as a shower, but occasionally you're going to use it as a tub. I think if you start to get the much longer, bigger ones and you're going to use them for a single person, it just starts to feel a bit unnecessary. We have the tub sizes and they are popular sizes, the larger ones. I'll go through them as we walk through here, but it's just not really required. So this tub, as with any of our tubs, can be manufactured in any colour and can be shipped worldwide. UK shipping is free of charge, even to Northern Ireland, dedicated day delivery. We're going to move on to the next one. I think the next one behind me, we didn't have last time. I think the one behind me is 1300 by 950. It's the one that we've set freestanding. So this tub, as with any of our tubs actually, can be installed freestanding. It's really not difficult. By default, it's not a freestanding tub. So what I mean by that is it's not finished on the outside. You'll see other manufacturers of other bathtubs that exist and the sides look the same as this. That's not how we manufacture our product. We manufacture the product so that it can be created and it can be tailored to each of the individual design styles in which it's being housed. But there is absolutely no reason why any of our tubs cannot be installed freestanding. This is a prime example. It's essentially boxed in, depending on the base would be depending on how you're going to install it, the waste connection, etc. Then you would put your backer board over the boxing in, insulated or not, and then you would put your finished material and you've got yourself a freestanding tub. This one has got the overflow filler on the long side. This is actually a really good example of a tub that is absolutely slammed to the ground, by the way. This tub is set completely and utterly flat, which emulates somebody who has got a waste which is connectable through a level that is sub-ground level. So for example, an older property, suspended floorboards or suspended ceiling area where you've got that void space with the joists and there's space under there, and it permits the ability for the waste to be installed below the floorboard level and then the waste to connect to the trap, which connects to the water out, and it runs through the floorboard level out of the property or connects to another pipe, so that therefore the tub could be slabbed, which literally makes that tub from the ground level the 62.5 from the height. So that is perfectly doable as well. It doesn't need to be set on feet and stuff. That's me in a 1300. So are my legs going to be straight in a 1300 tub? Absolutely not. But I'm much taller than average, as I said before. The width on this tub, for me, is ridiculously nice. For others, may be considered unnecessary, but it does suit and it does replace a shower space that could have existed before, and now you want a tub. You're not gonna find a bigger internal measurement on a 1300 by 950 tub anywhere. I would love to see an alternative if you think it exists or you've seen something, because the internal soaking space on this, as with our other tubs as we run through them, are just vastly larger inside. So to soak and to walk, bathe, shower in is going to give you the most space within the parameters of the tub that you're going to find anywhere. Sat me on a corner, I'm still not going to have my legs straight. On this particular size, I probably wouldn't say I'm any more comfortable like this as I was when I was facing forward. I'd be more than happy to be sat in any of these positions. I don't think I would fit two of me in here with like me in these positions. But if I was sat like this, then you absolutely could, because the other person, providing they're smaller than me, would have the legs underneath. So at 6'3", I could sit in this tub, 1300 by 950, and I could have my wife in here with me, for example, and be very comfortable for a very long time. I am certainly not in an uncomfortable position sat in this tub like this. So yeah, that's 1300 by 950. We definitely didn't have this on my last video when I would have done one of these. So it's quite nice to show people what I look like inside of it. The width for me, being a bit broader, is really nice. But you would need that width in the bathroom space at 950. This is a 1600 by 800, and this tub is just that little bit longer than the 15 by 100 mil. This one has the 100 mil on the end, as opposed to what I just shown you on the 1500, which had the 100 mil on one of these long sides. Just because this has 75 mil on the side doesn't mean you can't mount taps on it. As you can see there, it's perfectly possible to do. With me sat in this, hopefully, if you remember what I just looked like in the 1500 by 800 with the B100 version, you'll see what I'm referring to in regards to the extra width. Like this one houses just a bit more extra width. And me sat down in this tub at 6'3". I keep saying my height, I'm not trying to do it to be annoying, it's because I want to remind you of my height compared to my feet in the tub when I'm sat in the seated position. If I was going to come down a bit more, then I can put my feet on the end and I would have my head on the back, but that wouldn't be that comfortable. I pitch myself down like that if I wanted to do that and have a slight bend in my legs. If my legs were straight, I'd probably, I don't know if that would make it more comfortable or not, but all of a sudden I would feel it start to get a little bit unnecessary in the length. Like I'm much taller than most people. We should do more of these with different heights of people moving forward and re-upload them, and I'll talk over and stuff like that to showcase it. Personally, I'm very comfortable. I still prefer the 1500 by 800 because I don't really feel like I need to be in this position when I'm sat in it. It's two completely different experiences, sitting in this tub with no water in it and then sitting in this tub with water in it. They're two completely different experiences. And I don't generally sit like this when I'm in the tub. When I'm in my tubs, I have 1500 by 1050 and a 1500 by 800. When I'm sat in my tubs, I'm sat like this. And I do that, and I've usually got my phone in my hand, in all honesty with you. Or if I'm just relaxing for a bit, then I can do, but I generally sit like this inside my tubs. So that's why this extra space and my legs straight isn't really the be all end all of me being comfortable. But yeah, the 800 width on this is extremely generous. So I really like it. So that's 1600 by 800. This one here is 1750 by 950. So now all of a sudden we start to get into those tub sizes that I was describing earlier of just being for a single person soaking tub as a regular extremely unnecessary, because now I'm sat in here and I'll start to look a little bit lost. In all honesty, for two people to have a spacious soaking space, this is absolutely going to tick that box. If you're going to use this tub like occasionally with a partner or whatever, it's going to be a very nice soaking experience. It's amazing to shower over because the walking space that you have around our tubs is just going to be a great experience. As with all of our tubs, there is 3 layers of the gel, 3 layers of the GLP resin blends, and then we have an 80mm board underneath. So our tubs are solid. So we have a 30-year warranty with our tubs. The bonded blend that we go through, which is all hand laid in Somerset, once the tub is formed, it's not possible to unform. So it's a solid material, it's warm to the touch, it isn't going to bow, it isn't going to flex when it's filled with water. All of our tubs are made in the same manner. Seated tubs have some additional layers around the sides because of the depth inside the tubs. On the 600 tubs, they're set like this and they're extremely comfortable. They're extremely comfortable to use. They're very, very strong to walk around. You're not going to feel like the tub's moving. And again, if you know, you know. You've been inside a bathtub before in a hotel, resort or whatever. You walk around it. It might be the tub you got in your house at the minute or at a relative's. And you walk around the tub and it moves. It's not a good look. And that's how the waste seals can crack and then it can leak, cause a problem. So 1750 by 950. Nice size. Quite big. This is 1600 by 1050. So now we go into, again, the broader 2-person soaking tubs. Really nice to walk around again, as with the 1750 by 950. Personally, if I had the width, I would choose a 1600 by 1050 over a 1750 by 950, but it is very subjective. And you start getting into these 1050 width tubs, and all of a sudden, you start having some real nice space. Like, you could quite easily move over to the side and fit the other person back there, feet there, and you've got plenty of space. For example, if the back were there and the feet were there, I mean, you could have your back on this side as well, but from my side to be comfortable, I'm doing it like this. I would say this is my natural, comfortable position to be in. So yeah, 1600 by 1050, my feet are nowhere near the end. I've got a huge amount of space there still, and I'm very comfortable. If I was to soak down and slide down a little bit more, then I can do that quite easily and still have a huge amount of space to soak into. So yeah, but to shower over and have a 1500 by 1050 is just amazing. It's naturally a non-slippery surface, the materials that we're manufacturing the tubs with. There's not like additional pieces inside or like slits inside to make it non-slip. It's just naturally not a slippery material. It's not like other materials that other people manufacture bathtubs out of. It's very, very different to that. But it is warm to the touch, which is nice. It's not got that cold to the touch feeling like other materials do have. Next, I think it's a 1400 by 1400. So this is now the smaller square tub to the 1400 by 1500. Again, it's nice to be in. It's a huge space to shower over, if that were your goal. If you were to have this tub, if I were to be in this tub now with a wall on three sides, and I had the shower coming down toward the backside, or in the middle, I wouldn't need a shower screen. That's a nice thing. I do know that if you have a shower directly in the middle of you, and you're in a 1500 by 1050, and if I'm in it, the water will go over the side, depending on the water pressure and the size of the person. But that is a question I get asked a lot. 1400 by 1400, I'm gonna do it from this side because of the taps. I think you'll find I can sit inside this with my legs straight, yeah. So if I wanted to be leg straight, 1400 by 1400, huge amount of space. I could do so like this. If I was sat facing in one direction, my feet are gonna be slightly curved on the end of me sat up in this position, because now we're coming into that shorter length period of me being inside the tub. So again, this is used a lot for outdoors. Very nice. It is also used indoors as well for people's properties and commercial developments. This one is 1050 by 1050. This one is set 72 off the ground. So this one is like fully height extended with the feet of the tub as well as the trap underneath. We've put the step here to emulate what a 200 by 200 step would look like if you had one next to the tub. So now all of a sudden I've gone from 72, this is going to take me down to 52. So now my step into the tub up is 52, down is down to the bottom of the tub, so that's going to be a 60 drop off for that. And inside a duo, would I be comfortable? Meh. It's all right. I'm much taller, as I keep saying. This is an extremely popular tub size. Funnily enough, it's the original two-person soaking tub design that we have. Like, this was originally made as our macro, like, two-person tub. And, you know, in reality, it's very small. So I'm sat like that. Am I all right with that? It's all right. My wife would prefer it. She's much smaller than me. Tiger fits very well inside this tub. You would have seen him in it before. He is much smaller than me. You know, if you're looking at this and your partner is over 6 foot and they're like, I'll never fit in that, this is what they're gonna look like in it. The question is, do they use it or do they wanna use it, or is this for the family to use? Because from, say, Tiger's side or any of my children's side, they got a huge amount of space. From my side, yeah, it's all right. I think if this were in my house and it was used as the shower, then I'd be sound with it. If this were against 3 walls with access on this side with a door over it to use this as a shower, yeah, I'm gonna be perfectly okay with it. If I wanted to bath in this 7 days a week, would I be loving life as a 6'3" person? It's all right. And I'll stay the same for like all of our 1050 length tubs. I prefer a 1250, as I'll show you in a minute when we go around it. I've always preferred the 1250 length over the 1050. That extra 20 centimeters is massive if you're around my height. But as a smaller person, the 1050s are more than adequate. So it really depends on the size of the users and what we're looking to achieve. So here's a difference, for example. This tub now is 1250 by 1050, so it works on exactly the same width as what I've just had, but now the extra 20 centimeters. Didn't take long, did it, to get into a tub size that I prefer. So we used to have this tub size ourselves. I've used this for many years, and me sat inside this tub, 1250 changes things, because now I'm far more comfortable. That extra bit of space gives me a huge amount of internal space and makes me far more happy and comfortable to be in here. Amazing to shower over, can tell you firsthand, did it for years. Amazing for a 2-person tub. I'm much more comfortable if I'm sat in here now with an extra person next to me, or if I was sat here, the other person could be sat here with legs underneath and be very, very comfortable. This tub here is a massive home run for me for a 2-person soaking tub. I think if I had the space, I'd prefer the 12-12 because it would be square and I could make a cool design out of it. But the 1050 width is very, very popular because it doesn't protrude as much into the room. You know, if my wife is showing me this tub, as opposed to the 1050, I'm leaning here every time if I want to use it. The walking space around the tub to shower over is far greater. That extra bit of distance on the base just makes it far better to soak in than the 1050 in my opinion. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of be a bit consistent with that theme going into this tub. This one here is a 1050 by 800. So 1050 by 800 for me is better than a 1050-750. The 1050-750 I'm not about. The 1050-800 is better. If I have to make a choice between 1050-750 and 1050-800, I'm choosing the 800 every single day. But again, if this is the only video that you've watched of Omnitub and you haven't looked at like Tiger in the tub or Taz in the tub or something like that, then like I am bigger. And if you just switch to this point of the video from watching like the intro and just skipping along, I am much bigger than most people to fit inside the tub. So when we go to these smaller ones in particular, like they are very popular and they do serve a huge purpose and people do love them and they use them every single day. But for me, being a much taller person, I'd rather a 1250. But I'd rather the 800 width than the 750 that I'm about to show you. So, me inside the 750, I don't reckon much water would be inside this tub if I actually got in it. I think it'd be pretty low. That's me inside the solo. I would have to go like that. There you go. Hey, to be honest, like now I'm here in that position. I haven't been in this for so long. I'm actually more comfortable than what I remember. I still want one of those. I still want a bigger tub. And that might sound weird, me saying that when I sell them, but I'm just talking about it from my own body size as opposed to other people's. We're all different shapes and sizes, and what one person isn't a huge fan on, another person could be like, this is the best thing ever. Again, we sell this tub size a lot. It's very popular. It's the original soaking tub that we ever had, along with the Duo back in the day, and it's remained a popular seller. This one, coming up to this one next, is a good shout because it holds a 750 width, but the length of it is 1700. Now this is the size of a standard tub in the United Kingdom. So if you were to buy a property and they'd installed a bathroom and a bathtub inside of it, chances are it was these dimensions. The only difference is that the depth of our tub is going to be twice as deep. And the fact that this tub's made in England, in the United Kingdom, by hand and not by a machine. All been flown in from. So, 2-person tub, all day long. All right to shower over from my side. I prefer an 800 to a 750, as I keep saying. Just keep reiterating that, I do prefer it. but it's a 2-person tub, yeah. So if I'm getting inside here, 1700 long, I've got a huge amount of space inside this tub, and I'm very comfortable inside of it as well. I'm gonna slouch myself down, and like that. Now, if you have watched this video and you've watched it throughout and you're with your partner and they are taller like me, and now you'll be able to put context into what I'm saying, because you would have seen your partner or yourself, if it's for you, inside a bathtub that is this length and width before, and there's no way they had this much space, did they? That's what this product achieves by looking at this and by considering this for your property. 1700 by 750. This is a tub that actually you can get into and be submerged and not be out of the water. I cannot understand how people have bathtubs in their house and they can't get their knees out. Like, if you look at my knees now, yeah, my knees are not very high up. But I'm telling you right now, if this was a bathtub that you purchase off the shelf or you purchase from another location, chances are your knees would be out of the water. That is tragic, really, isn't it? It's quite funny, actually. Whereas actually there's a huge amount of depth in our tub to go. That's probably like halfway, maybe a little higher than halfway. There's a huge amount of space up to that overflow point. Like, I'm not just trying to be like, oh, take it up to 600, like that's practical. It's not really that practical. I soak at 50 personally. But my body shape in here right now, I'm at 50 and I'm under the water and I'm good. And that's with my body weight inside. So it's a huge amount of space, bigger than any 1700, 750 internally that you'll find. And there's no point in me waiting for you to try and find one that's bigger, because it doesn't exist. It's a nice tub size. I do like it. Probably the best 750 width we've got because of the length. This one we've designed specifically to be like a cooler design, that's unlike others in the showroom, just with that idea of it being in the corner, a couple of steps up. Like, in all honesty, you know, on the macro, when I look at this tub and I think about this tub being installed in people's properties, they don't install it like this. It's just massively out of hand. But if you were to put this outdoors and you had a nice space in a corner of your property and you wanted to build some steps up to it and you wanted a ridge to go all the way around the side and you wanted to undermount the entire thing with something like porcelain or something like that, outdoor slabs and stuff, this is pretty cool. And then connected up, you know, think about how you're going to heat the water again. A lot of people who buy this tub size and put it outside use additional resets to heat them. Having a space to go around the tub's really nice. I would say most people who buy this tub have got narrow bathrooms, wall this side, wall this side, wall this side, for example, and then they enter it on one side. So they would enter it from here and have a wall around each side, and they wouldn't use a shower screen. People who have got 1200 depths and want to use this to shower over and to soak over, if you've got like a, what would it be, 4 meter long, 3.5 meter long, depending on your door situation, if you had a 3 meter long place and you just wanted to pack the tub, toilet and the basin next to each other, you could just about achieve it. Toilet, basin, tub on a 3 meter back on a 1.2. It's depending on the way that the door works, but generally people with longer spaces. So again, you've seen me in a 14-14, so obviously on a 14-14 and a 14-12 or an angle, I can straighten my legs and I'm perfectly straight. So if that's your objective and you're this sort of height, then this should answer your question. Yeah, it's perfectly possible like this. If I'm gonna be facing this side, then again, there's plenty of space for 2 people in here. Like with the 14-14, this one's just 200 narrower. But this one is more popular for people to put indoors than the 14-14, just because of the extra 200s, rather unnecessary, unless you specifically wanted a square tub. But then people are now buying the 12-12 instead, because they just could get away with a smaller space slightly. And showering for this is just amazing. Like, not having a shower screen is a massive thing for customers who I speak to. They don't want a shower screen, they don't like glass, they don't want to spend £1,000 on a piece of glass. I don't blame them, and they will have more space to soak in. They just want something where they don't need a shower screen. Well, if this was a wall, that was a wall, and that was a wall, and you've got 1200 from this point to this point, and you've got that shower positioned inside here, then you don't necessarily need to have anything over here. You're going to be okay with it. Definitely in the 14-14 as well. Okay, so that's 1400 by 1200. The next one This is massive. This is 1800 by 1050. Very popular for certain markets, believe it or not. But now I've got myself a huge space. This is the first 1800 tub that we've gone through today. We have also got the 1800 by 800. So this is modeled on the 1050 width, like the 1250, 1050, the 1500 by 1050, the 1600 by 1050. This is the 1800 by 1050. Me inside an 1800, I think any single person inside an 1800, there's a huge amount of space in here. There's a huge amount of excess space in here at the end, which is why I do say to people quite often the 1800 just isn't that necessary. But it still does happen, and people use this as a 2-person tub and shower over this all of the time. Internally, we have a huge amount of space here. If this were going on the ground floor in the property, cool. On the first floor, check the numbers. All of the numbers, just coincidentally, all of the numbers that I've given on estimates on our website are for every single tub on our that we manufacture. To give you an idea on like the amount of hot needed, the amount of cold needed to get it to 40, the amount of weight, literage, etc. Have all been worked out as guides to give to people if you want to use. When it comes to this particular tub size, it's suits certain bathrooms, suits certain spaces, certain soaking spaces. Has been quite popular for outdoors as well. But when I start to get to these much longer tubs, the 18s and the 19s and stuff like that, I just can't help but feel that personally I would rather design my soaking space to be more creative as opposed to filling a tub with a space, because you just get to the point where it's rather unnecessary. Like, we don't need that space above my feet. It's not really needed at all. I could have my feet here on a 1050 like I would have if this was 1500 by 1050 or 1600 by 1050, and there's still plenty of space for person 2 to be up there and have their legs over as well and be very comfortable together and spend a huge amount of time just shooting the breeze and just talking about bits and pieces and stuff. Or if you're soaking in it, like with your children, if you're bathing your children and stuff like that, there is still a huge amount of space in other versions of this tub size. So I'm not trying to talk myself out of you buying this tub if this is a size that you're interested in. I'm just saying it is big, check the numbers, and yeah, it's a real statement piece if you did consider it. It looks lovely in black. Just a heads up, looks lovely in black. We've done loads of these in black. This is 1500 by 1050. So I've actually just put one of these in my house itself. Nice little step up to it. I think there's a slightly different design to this, but with a step up onto it. This tub size wows people when they come here. They often come here to buy a 1600 by 1050 because they think the 1500 by 1050 just flat out won't be big enough for them, and they end up buying a 1500 by 1050. It's exactly the thing that I just said a minute ago. My feet are perfectly, like, I'm very comfortable. I've got a huge amount of space in here, and there's plenty of space for someone at the end. We don't really need a much bigger one than this, but we do have 1600 by 1050, as I've already shown you, and an 1800 by 1050 as well. This tub is killer to shower over it myself every single morning, and it's lovely to soak in as well. And the family love this tub size. Really cool, like a swimming pool for my 6-year-old, he loves it. 13-year-old loves it, 18-year-old loves it, everyone loves it in the house. This is like a real home run if you've got the space. If you haven't got the space and you still wanted to have a fully submerged tub but not be on a 1700 length, the 1500 by 800 is where I lean to. Again, we should probably get someone else's perspective on it, because like that is just me talking about like my own experiences in using the tubs. And I think next year I'll put something else outdoors and try something else. These ones now are like super popular. This is 1250 by 850. The reason why I've done this tub size design like this is to showcase the idea of having steps next to the tub, but also be able to get in and have access around the seated position. I feel like having storage in the seated area, in the step area, is something that a lot of people like to do. And again, I did create this one in mind with the idea of mobility to help people who come here to try the tubs just to sit on to get their legs over. I mean, me really being me would have made those steps equally, as opposed to making them different, but we've done it like this to showcase what it's like just to sit on and then get your legs over, which is essentially this. So grab rail might be needed, the way that you're going to get in and out of this tub is a consideration for some of our customers who come. So if you were sat on the side here and you needed to get your legs up, it's like this. And moving yourself into position and then getting into the tub. Obviously the tub would be level with that surface, so it was easier. 1250 by 850, this is a home run. Like, this is wider than the 750, which I'm going to show you in just a second. I'm actually ridiculously comfortable in this. I could do an hour, 45 minutes in this any day of the week, and I'd be more than comfortable, more than happy to be inside this space. I really enjoy it. I could use it myself. Might end up putting this upstairs when I swap out a bathroom later on in time. I do really like this size. Like, I would genuinely consider having this one inside my house. I would also use it for cold if I was limited on space, or a 1250, 750 if I wanted to. But yeah, this is a really nice tub size. Very nice to have with the shower next to it. On the design we've got on the 1250 by 750 in there, you'll see it's very nice to step into and get into the tub. Yeah, this isn't white. Sorry, just to clarify, this isn't white. This color's called seafoam, so it's not your eyes deceiving you or that we're using a blurry white. This is a colored tub, and it's called seafoam. Actually very popular. I never realized how many people wanted a tub colored seafoam, but it is a thing. And people do like to have this tub color. Really nice size. 850, home run, if you've got the size, if you've got the width. 750 is up next, and we designed this because people do often want to have walk-in shower, just here, concept, across a 1500 width space in the bathroom. 1500 is the emulation. Here's me walking into the shower space here, and then that's me stepping into the tub. The beauty of having it like this is that little step up to get onto the shower is extremely easy to then get inside the tub. That's why that's a thing, and that's why people do go down that route of laying out their space in it. So yeah, 1250 by 750. This for me is still a 45-minute tub. I'd still be all right in here. Great for cold for me. Very popular tub size. 1250 is definitely a thing. People love to sit inside this tub. We sell this tub a lot. People always give positive feedback when they're using this tub and can't quite believe how much space there is inside. When you're looking at me on this video, I haven't watched this back obviously yet because we're filming. I'd probably make this tub look a bit small, but in reality, for customers who are smaller than myself, this is a big soaking tub. There's a lot of space inside of here. And again, you'll be browsing online and checking out different tubs, maybe before you've got to this or after you leave here and look at other tubs on the market, and you see a tub that's maybe 1200 or 1250 long, 750 wide or whatever. You've not got the internal soaking space that our tub has. There's no curvatures on our tubs, there's no deceiving corners which would make it dangerous potentially to get out of. They're all very obvious where you're standing on when you're on the base of this tub, and you will not get a bigger soaking depth space than this tub on these measurements anywhere. And that's why people love these tubs. That's why people love buying them. Obviously the fact that we're making them by hand in Somerset and making it available, but the soaking depth and the experience that you can get from sitting inside this tub makes it something that people just want to be involved in, which we're obviously extremely grateful for, but it does work very well. The colours are nice. So yeah, for me, this is the 45-minute hour tub like the 850. I'd be more than happy into it. I've got space either side of me. I could shower over this if I didn't have a separate shower. It would be decent. The next tub is really big. It's 1900 by 900. It's the only 1900 length tub that we have. In terms of shower room space, crazy. Just crazy to shower over. Probably should have cleaned these tubs right before we actually did this video, but we're way too far into this now with only a few left to go. But yeah, 1900 by 900, amazing to shower over. 2-person soaking tub all day long. You will just see now just how much space there is at the end of this tub compared to like a 1900 tub that you might have seen somewhere else, and how small it was and how small it felt because of the curvatures, the internal space being extremely like bowl shaped. There's just a huge amount of space inside of here. Yeah, it's cool for 2 people and it's cool for a commercial tub. This is very big. I will say, great for a Whirlpool system inside this tub. Like this tub with the Whirlpool system has been very popular. The next one, 1800 by 800. We did this design to set the tub to be in line with the basin. And the basin is something that we manufacture. The issue with our basins, which is why we haven't talked about them a huge amount with the design that we have currently, is the amount of distance required here means that you need a bespoke vanity to house it. But if you wanted a basin to match a tub, and you were building a bespoke vanity, not an off-the-shelf vanity, and you wanted it to match, then it is a thing. You can do that. This two-step system to get into, nice. I'm actually quite high at this moment now when I've gone on the two steps, but again, we just did this so that it was at the same height as the tub. 1800 by 800. 800's a really good width. Distance-wise, two people all day long. Lovely to shower over. Like our tubs are amazing to shower over. Like people often say, like, I want a separate shower to a separate tub. That's cool. Like the Japanese historian, like back in the day, showering first and soaking after, or even today, showering first, soaking after. But like our tubs are amazing to shower over. They're so strong. They're solid. They don't move around as you're getting in them. Some people do like to shower though before they get into the tub, which I completely understand. That is cool. And sometimes they just want to have a walk-in shower, which is why having a separate shower to it. But then when you've got the space and you want to have a bigger tub and you want to shower over something that's going to be solid, sturdy, it's not going to move. Again, not everybody has experienced that firsthand, but like I've been all sorts of different weights in my life, and when I've been much larger, especially walking around sort of bathtubs and stuff like that, like you really do feel the movements. And on these tubs, they don't move. So this tub filled with water isn't going to bow. It isn't going to flex, it's just going to hold. So that's like, it's the home run. It's nice. I love the 800 whips. I think some people it may be unnecessary, and the 750 whips like really work well. I can see a lot of people who come in for viewings, and like the 750 certainly does suit like a huge amount of people. Just again, probably the last time I'm going to say it. It will be the last time I say it, because that's the last 800 whip tub I'm getting in. I just prefer the 800. Next one is 1150 by 950. It really sucks because I don't have a 1400 by 800 here yet, purely because of the demand since we launched our tub size. It's might be a bit awkward because I'm going to be sat this way inside this tub, because of the way that we've set it up. Probably should change it so it's not so awkward for people. But this is the only 1150 length tub we've got. So it's the difference between the 1050 that I was in earlier and then the 1250 that you've seen me in. The difference really is, in all honesty, not that much, but it is a quirky size. And it is a bit squarer without being a full square. You could shower over this quite comfortably, whether it be on a half or whether it be against 3 walls. You could shower over this quite comfortably. It's a nice size. I'm probably not doing this size much justice, but like it is all right. The width on this massively helps someone like me, I would say, without the length kind of causing a problem. It's just not quite a 1250, 1050 for me, or 1250, 850 even. I'd rather a 1250, 850 than an 1150, 900 if that helps anybody who's watching this. And just seeing what you think about kind of the different tubs and me being inside of them. I'd rather those ones than this if possible. But the 900 width is quite cool. It's quite nice to have. So yeah, let's move on to the 1400 by 900. That's actually the last tub that we've got here. We've kind of then gone through all of the range. So 1400 by 800 is not here. 1600 by 1600 is not here. 1200 by 1200 is not here. Run out of space. Need to kind of do something like that to hold up the next layer of tubs. 1400 by 900, really nice. This is a cool size. So if I weren't able to have a if I couldn't have a 1500 by 800, 1400 by 800, or 1400 by 900, I'd go for that's cool. I'm very comfortable in that. This is, and again, if I didn't have the 900 and I went with the 800 that you've seen me, and all I've done is talk about how nice the 800 width is this entire time. So, like, 1400 is also a really nice size. My legs aren't exactly straight. They're not gonna be straight in a 1400, but I'm very comfortable and very happy inside this tub. 1400 by 900. I'd be equally as happy inside a 1400 by 800. There you go, that's a good one. For my height size. 1250 by 850, 1250 by 1050, all ridiculously comfortable. The bigger ones, obviously, there's shed loads of space. That's all I've kind of been saying whilst I've been getting in them. Yeah, really, really good to be inside this tub size. Haven't sat in it for ages. It's a bit of a throwback for me to get inside these tub sizes and kind of remember exactly what they're like. I feel like it's probably going to help me whilst talking to people moving forward. It's probably a good idea to do this video, actually. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Just to clarify a couple of little bits, I can ship this, or ship these tubs anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world where there is not conflict, these tubs can be shipped to. We've got very good rates for shipping now. We've finally got over the sort of Brexit malarkey of booking stuff in to go to European and further afield countries. So that's like a really good period now to look at placing orders. If you have looked at our product in the past but not purchased because of shipping price outside of the UK, it's worth reaching back out to get a new price because the shipping prices have dropped, which is really good, like really good. UK delivery, free of charge. Northern Ireland delivery, free of charge. Dedicated day delivery. We offer a freehold service as well for people who want to place their orders and choose the delivery date at another time if they don't have it to hand or their installers haven't confirmed yet but they want to get the order placed to tick it off their list. That's absolutely fine. Colour chart is available on the product page on the website. You can go through the colour chart and see the standard colours, but we do have a bespoke colour match service so that if you send us a sample, we can match the colour and make the tub in that colour as well. Turnaround times for a bespoke colour sample is about 3-4 weeks, standard colour about 2 weeks. White colours are always available in stock. Any questions you get, reach out to us on WhatsApp, leave a comment on this video. 01934 751 200 +44 United Kingdom country code there. Message us on WhatsApp, message us on Instagram, Facebook, X, leave a comment on here. I think I've already said that. I won't leave it so long to make the 2025 video. I'll use different people and I'll bring in at least the 1400 by 800 into here for next time to go through it with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Enjoy, we'll watch it. No, I'm joking. See you later. Cheers.